everybody has a moment where they see God, sometimes multiple. Like, even if you're in your day, there's always something, and you're just like, man, otherwise, how are you going to believe in him, right? Well, mine happened, first one happened when I was a kid. We were at Folsom Lake. I told this in my first testimony I gave. We're at the lake, and we're heathen. We're reincarnated heathen family, okay? We get down like that. There's no such, God, he reincarnates you into the thing that you were the meanest to. So that's how we were raised, so we didn't really know about this God stuff. And one day we're out at Folsom Lake. We're the only family there. Like, they promised, and we held the parents to it. Like, yeah, we're going to the lake. It's storming, it's windy, but we went to the lake, and the wind was blowing. I was on the raft, and before you knew it, I was a quarter mile down at Folsom Lake. Anybody knows Folsom Lake? It has a bunch of drop-offs. So here's the shore, and I was here, and I stepped off my raft because I was getting way too far from him, and it was, I don't know how deep, 10 feet? I don't know, but I panicked, started to drown, started to go under, and I'm calling for my people. My mom, dad, nobody, they couldn't hear me. And when you go under and you're taking on water, and it's like you realize, all of a sudden you just get calm, and it's like, it's a wrap. And I was a kid, and I knew, it's a wrap. I'm going down. And I just went down, and I started going down, and then all of a sudden, this lady, I think, reached down and grabbed me by my hair and pulled up. And a little bit of sun, well, it was an opening, and there was sun right there. And I can't see this person's face. I can see the sun, and I was just like, wow, man. And then my stepdad came splashing in the water, and he grabbed me and took me back over there where we were, and I'm crying, and I'm shaking, and my mom's like telling me for the next hour, get in the water, go play. And I'm like, I'm not going back in that water, right? That thing terrified me. Well, and I said, I started getting mad at her because I was like, if you would have been paying attention, I wouldn't have almost drowned. If that lady down there didn't grab me, I'd have been dead. And she yelled at me, what lady? There is no lady. There was no lady. There was no lady. And I knew at that moment, and God touched me that day. So I had him, I knew it. And I'm so thankful that I was able to carry that with me, So I'm going to just skip right on up to where I got out, February 18th, 1998, and I get out, and I started living a life like most people that aren't saved live. Remember the motto back in the day, he who dies with the most toys wins? Come on, man. Y'all know. Like, that was me. I'm going after toys. Like, it was crazy stuff. We were getting we're getting stuff, right? Going after it. And living crazy life. So I'm going to read something to you. 2 Timothy 3. 1 through 7, and I'm not going to give you time to get there, I want to go. But know this, that in the last days, perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, I wasn't that, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power, and from such people turn away. For of this sort are those who crept into households and made captives of gullible women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Yeah. That was me in a nutshell. Anybody else? I'm sure you don't have to raise your hand. I marked a few words in here, and I just thought this is good stuff right here. Perilous times, perilous, harsh, savage, difficult, dangerous, painful, grievous, hard to deal with. The word in the Bible describes a society that is barren of virtue, but abounding with vices. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. That's kind of like the church's problem today. Even the people in the church, all the people that are here all the time that go do everything, you'd be lying if you don't have vices. I know you got vices, because I got vices. And they may be simple, but I got stuff, right? And it grabs me. Next one, lovers of themselves. Lovers of themselves. That reminds me of one of my old boys. Anybody guess this guy? I love me some me. T.O. Right? I took that motto on too. I'll still be known to this day to be saying some of that. I love me. I mean, I do. I love me a lot better now than I used to love me, but I still love me. Right? I do. The next one is proud. I've battled arrogance most of my life. Can't you tell? I mean, look. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I'm still battling it today. I'm getting way better, but it's a battle. Unforgiving. That's in there. People easily discard people. You know, we're on short leashes nowadays. You know, if you go on Facebook, you're one remark that goes against them before you're no longer friends. Next thing you know, it's like, bro, did I unfriend them? And you got to think back, oh yeah, I said something stupid. It wasn't stupid, but to them it was stupid. That's how quick we are. And family members and siblings just hating each other. Like, I've got that going on right now in my life. I still have a sister that maybe I'll get lucky and she'll watch this and she'll see how much I want to reconcile what we have had happen, because it has to happen, you know, but that happens. And lovers of pleasure. This one, you can go many different directions. How about, should I tithe or get a new iPhone? I mean, I did break it. God supplies the church, you know. Yeah, and how about time? Our time, that's more along the same lines. You know, is it going to be church today or is it going to be football?
Preach it.
Is it going to be prayer or is it going to be early dinner? The house of prayer, we're the house of prayer. I got to keep reminding myself, it's the house of prayer, and I skip prayer all the time. It's just not important enough to me. House of prayer. Got to keep telling myself we're on a new mission, trying to make sure that we get. It's the most important thing. Church gatherings or social gatherings. We'll get together for a football game or for a party or for you name it. I don't do it, but I hang out with myself, and then we don't. I mean, it's social gatherings, and then prayer or television. It isn't just praying in the church. We should be praying all the time. Like Coach goes and finds his way in his garden. You know, I'm sure he watches TV too, but he gives that time, you know. We need to give that time. We need to be all in and praying and whatnot. And so that's why I like that scripture. That's kind of why I started off like that. I'm with that, you know what I mean? Like, I knew of God, but I didn't really know him personally. I was like a fan of Jesus. I wasn't a follower of Jesus. And even when I was in church, all these years, you got it, Bill? I ain't gonna lie. I'm a fan of Jesus, and then I find myself not following him. Like, come on, man, I gotta follow him. I know the cost, you know? I know the cost, and it's big. So I was just a fan, like, back in 98, 99, 2000, right? And even now, but I'm just sticking, we're going row, and I wanted to talk about my sister, Mary, because my sister Mary is very instrumental in my life, what I am today. I'll tell you a little bit about her. She was born after me, 69, June 13th. She was a girl, but she was a boy. You know what I mean? She was a girl, but she was a boy. Like, when we would go play 2-on-2 football with any neighbors in the whole Citrus Heights area, it was me and her. And we had a couple plays, and we didn't have to call huddle. I just give her a little signal, and boom, it was on. And she could throw the ball, and we would beat people bad. We would beat not grown men, but two boy teams, we'd beat them up. And it was good stuff. We had a super great relationship. She was just super special. Like, when I was in my drug scene, every time I tried to get clean, I never had a place to stay. I go stay with my sister. And my sister had 3 kids, Nate, Steven, and Megan, and deadbeat dad. And that's just the way it is. I call it like I see it. But I was surrounded by love when I was there, because there was so much love in that family, and she was loved, And I didn't even know it, Y'all, just consider yourself robbed. If she was still around today, consider yourself robbed, because you would have all loved her. She would have been like the cool version of me, The better version. The better version, no lie. She was the better version by far. We'll get there. I didn't understand love. I didn't understand her kids. Uncle Ricky. Oh, Uncle Ricky. I love them kids, but basically back then, I just basically took advantage of them, I took advantage of her. I'm starting to get lost, I'm skipping. But hey, God changed me a lot, and He's working on me, and He's still changing me, and I love her kids. I love her kids. I love your kids, Mayor. Love your kids like they're my own. I love her grandkids like they were mine. They call me uncle, right? You guys call me uncle?
Yep.
You guys, I feel like Papa, you know what? I feel like Papa. One of you guys even called me Grandpa a while back and says, "Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." You go a long ways doing that. Hey, my second moment, maybe the biggest moment, was 2000. This awesome sister I have, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she came up to me one day, and she's like, "Hey, bro, there's this church, Family Community Church, Watney Street. People get healed over there. And I think that I can get healed over there, and I want to go." And I'm like, "Okay, go. And I want you to go with me." And I won't get into details how that conversation went, but I was just like, I don't want to go to church. And I ended up going to church, I started going, and you know why I started going? Because she invited me, bro. Gotta invite somebody for them to show up. But and immediately, like, I used to run around free, doing whatever I want. There was never no consequences except for looking over your shoulder for other thugs and cops. But nobody else. But right after I started going to church, I experienced a tug of war. I experienced a tug of war for my soul. And things started coming to me like I never experienced before. Like, some of you guys are raised around church, and I didn't really have no idea, so I didn't understand what was going to happen, but the devil wanted my soul. So Jesus was saying, "Come, follow me," but the Lord was saying, "No, Yeah, my old Lord. Satan was saying, you have insecurities. And the Lord was saying, come on. And the devil was telling me, you're broke. You're broken. I would always keep saying, man, I'm broke. You don't want me. Come on. My past is awful. I watch stuff I shouldn't watch. And God's still saying, come on. He didn't say clean that up first. He said, come on. And I was just unworthy, and the devil made me feel unworthy, and it was a battle that first little bit, but God, he grabbed me, and he says, come on, man, just come on, give it a try, and of course, I wanted to be liked by the big guy, so I went with him. I already gave the other guy a chance, and it wasn't really working out. It don't matter what you've done. It don't matter what you've been through in life. It don't matter how you did people wrong. It don't matter what you did. You could read in the Bible if you know how to read, and you could see tons of prominent people in there that did crazy stuff. And God called them. Those are the people that we're looking up to. Those are our people, And He's not going to stop trying. He's not going to stop trying. He's going to get us. He's going to get you. As long as you leave an opening, He's going to get you. Right? He's going to get you. He's going to get you to not just be a fan. He's going to get you to be a follower. Right? Because Philippians 1:6 is in here. He who began a work in you, He won't stop till the day of Jesus Christ when He returns. He wants you. He wants me. And I always say never. I'll never go back. I used to say, that jinxed me. I'm not going to say that. Never say never. But I can tell you now, after being here for 12 years, never. I'm never going back. I know it now. I didn't know it for years, but I know it now. I could tell you things I've been through since, How long? How many times is He going to call you and you're going to ignore Him and you're not going to put those things behind you? How many times or how long are you going to hold on to your vices before you really follow Him? How long, Well, that moment, my second moment, that invitation, the most important time in my life. And I just got to thinking, you know what? What was the greatest invitation ever given? Was it, what's up, DJ? You're late. I still love you, though. What was the greatest invitation ever given? Was it birthday party? Maybe royal birthday parties? I don't know. I just wrote down some cool ideas. How about housewarming? Baby showers. Graduation. Potlucks. We always get invited to potlucks. Can't eat them anymore, but we'll still show up, unless you're serving all meat. Game nights. We even skip out on those, right? Didn't mean to, but yeah, that's a good invitation. Maybe it's a wedding. The wedding where only your good close friends are going to show up, and there's like 300 people. And sometimes they're even on a Sunday, like the last wedding I went to. And it was hard to make that choice, like even on a good wedding where it's somebody that I really loved. It was really hard for me to say I'm going to miss Sunday night church because of a wedding. That was a tough one. But we don't even have that many friends. Who has 300 friends? Who has? My dad told me when I was younger, he told me, boy, this is the best piece of advice my dad gave me. He gave me one other one I'm not going to share with you. But he gave me one advice, and he told me, boy, hold up your hand. He says, that's how many friends you'll have, or less, when you die. And I just said, you're crazy. You're crazy, you're lonely, that's a lie, that's not true. But fact. That's a fact. Like, you guys are all, you're not my friends. Like, you're my people. Right? You're my people. I love spending time with you. But a friend, like, there ain't a whole bunch of them. And if you were really honest with yourself, you know, you don't have a whole lot of friends. You know, how many people are going to come and get you out of the mud near Campfire West when you're broke down? I know one. Big old stud. He's a big old stud, too. I won't mention his name because he hates when people talk good about him. That's hell. So, yeah, what about dinner? Dinner, we're always invited to dinner. We're almost to the end of this one, too. How about teams? This could be the best. Teams, they win the championship, and Obama invites you to the White House. Right? That's a good invitation. That's not it. Best invitation, in my opinion, and in yours, is when Jesus says, follow me. Yeah. Best invitation. New King James Version, Jesus says, follow me 21 times. I'm not going to name them all, but I'll give you a few. Matthew 4:19. Follow me, I will make you fisher of men. I like that one because I love fishing. And if I can have as much success, because I'm good at fishing. I told you about my pride thing, right? But it's true. Good. Right? If I can be a good fisher of men like I am a fisherman, oh, look out, devil. Look out, devil. You know, and that's one reason I'm up here right now is this is the first time I've ever done something like this. I've given my testimony. It's really easy giving your testimony. You get up here and you tell people how ugly you were, and you bore them with details until finally you start seeing people go home because they can't stay up any longer, and then you close it out. But trying to put something together, I commend you. I commend you. It's not easy. I have a million. You, Pastor Al, you, Pastor John, in case you're confused. Man, I got my desk and my papers are everywhere, and I'm like, this ain't like giving a testimony. Man, this is harder. I got so much stuff. I had so much stuff. Man, he said I only got this much time. I got to rock, man. Oh, it was hard. It's not easy. Matthew 8:22. Follow me. Leave the dead to bury their own. Mark 10:21. When the rich man asked, everybody know that story? When the rich man asked, he said, I already do all those things, but what do I still need to do? And what did he say? Sell all your stuff and give it to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven. Come follow me. What happened? He went away sad. He went away sad. Don't go away sad. I'm telling you, ain't nothing worth it. I'll tell you what. All right. My favorite, and I think the most important one of all. I'm going to read it to you. The most important one of all. Pastor, you probably guess it. He touched on it 2 weeks. Somebody touched on it 2 weeks ago. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. Come to me. That isn't Peter, follow me. Camille, follow me. Rich, follow. That is for everybody on the planet. Come to me. That is a call. That is the biggest invitation ever. Ever. If you think it isn't, please enlighten me. That's the biggest invitation. I wrote down a little bit about that. Oh, I'm flying through this. I'm over halfway done. You guys could be happy. You ain't going to fall asleep. Jesus' call to follow me was more than an invitation to just pray. It was a summons to lose your life, right? Find a new life in Him. And that shouldn't be too hard. I mean, it's hard. We're holding on to that old life because there's so many things. But trust me, there's so much better stuff over here. There's so much, it's just so much better, man. All that, I can't even stand looking at that stuff anymore. I mean, some of it looks cool. New cars and all. It's all going to burn in the fire. Yep. He wants us to find an ultimate joy in Him, obey His words, and then identify ourselves with His cause. And that may be the thing that I was lacking my whole Christian life. I was kind of like, okay, I'm starting to be a follower of Jesus, right? But I didn't really understand what He wanted me to do, what it meant to follow Him, what it meant to put your cross on your back and carry it, what it meant, what we're supposed to do. We're not just changed, right? We're not just changed and now we're going to heaven. Hallelujah! We're saved. Brother Curtis, I forgot the rest of that, but you know what I'm saying, Brother Curtis? It's so much more than that. There's so much that we're supposed to do, and I'm starting to figure that out. Like, I'm guilt-ridden when I think about all the stuff that I'm supposed to do because I want to do it. And I've established so many years of my life, and I have so many things. It's like, where do I start? Well, I could probably start back. I'm not rich, but I could probably go back to that scripture, sell everything. I don't even like saying it. You know how hard it is to say that? I'm just going to sell everything and give it to the poor. That's tough, man. No wonder that guy had a hard time. You know? Man, that's a hard thing to say. I'm going to sell and put it in the bank and pay tithes the rest of my life? Oh, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. So, my favorite person in the Bible now, it used to be Paul, right? It used to be Paul, and I have reasons why I liked Paul, but now it's Peter. And after the more I study, the more I read, the more I'm in church and I get to the Word and I hear it, the more everything about it, I like Peter. We have a lot in common, me and Peter. Anybody who knows Peter's personality, think about it for a second, and then think about me. You see, we could be twins, right? I mean, we could be twins. He loved to fish, right? I'll get there. I love to fish. He's bold, right? I'm bold, okay? He's quick to anger, right? I'm quick to anger. Not as much anymore. I'm getting so much better. Shut up. All right, so real quick. I was driving into town. You know there's a couple spots in Marysville where yahoos always want to take off up and cut in, and like all of them do, and you're waiting patiently in line. Well, I'm that guy that says no. You want to cut, you cut up there, cut back there. I don't care, but you ain't cutting here. And the other day, sure enough, this guy wanted in, man. He wanted, I'm in a big old truck. Like, hit me, bro. And you know, it's the one by the lake. I'm going to put him in the lake. And so what does he do? He goes, "Rrr, rrr." He just tried to, don't even get, you know what you, huh? Oh, I'll tell him about that too. Well, this week has been a really trying week. Yeah, so anyways, I got to get behind this guy, but just so happens that God has his hands on me so much, guess who he put behind me? Sheriff. There was a sheriff behind me, so I'm only doing this in his mirror. You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? You know, I'm saying stuff. I didn't want my wife to hear it because she's like the Holy Spirit sometimes. She's like, right? And yeah, anyways. But sure enough, guess what? As soon as we got over the bridge and he takes off up, guess what happened? He rolled down his window and he let all the birds out. Every time. Happens every time, man. I got time to tell him about Costco? Take me a minute. All right, so we pulled into Costco yesterday. Was it yesterday? See, it really irked me. And I'm driving around, I got a big truck, I'm looking for this best spot. And there's a spot in the front row, right there. We would get out, walk across, and go grab a cart and go in. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right. Sure enough, this guy's backing out, but he's backing out the wrong way, and he's coming towards me. And here comes this dude. And I just said, man, I'm going to let this guy know. You know I'm here, right? You know, I'm here. That guy left, he pulled in. Pastor out. How's that saying go? You can never be too far saved where you can't pull up the... You know what I'm talking about? Anybody who's been in this church long enough to know, they know what I'm talking about, right? Well, I'm telling you what, I'm honking, I'm yelling, this guy gets out of his car. Won't make eye contact with me or nothing. Kept going, I'm like, oh! And my wife's like, babe, just find another spot. I said, sure enough. So I took off real quick because I knew, man, if I get up here and turn right, I could maybe run him over right there, right at the door. But it wasn't working out. See, I'm telling you what, I love the Lord with all my heart. I want people to get saved. Just like out there. Yeah, I don't have to say anymore, right? We saw him in the store and everything. Okay. All right, so I made my point. And I love the Lord, so don't you guys tell me that kind of stuff don't go on in your mind, or I won't believe it. I won't believe it. I won't believe it. How come I don't have this smart? I do. So, I'm going to read a little bit more. Luke 5, 1 to 11. You know what? I'm not even going to read the whole thing. I'm going to skip up here. You know, they're all fishing. There's some disciples. Well, they ain't disciples yet. There's some men fishing on shore. And, you know, they ain't catching no fish. And they come on up to shore. And they're done. Jesus walks up. I'm going to pick it up there in, what is that, verse 4. Jesus said, Simon, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. And Simon answered and said to him, Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. Toiled all night. Instead of reading it all, I'm just going to do it like this. It's faster. Peter knew the best time to fish. Anybody who knows how to fish knows the best time to fish. It's nighttime. We're the full moon. You know? Because in the daytime, they want to eat. They're skittish. They're afraid. They can see the top, you know. They can see the fishing boats. They can see the nets. They get around them. They just don't mess around. Best time to fish is at night. Right? So this is daytime. And he was like, okay. We toiled all night. We caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the nets. Nevertheless, Peter showed great respect and doubt when he let down the nets. But just dropping the nets showed respect. Right? He most likely, he was doubting. He doubted Jesus' ability to catch fish. And it's easy to tell, you know, fishermen. Jesus wasn't a fisherman. Everybody ever taken a deep sea boat or went out to sea and seen these fishermen's hands? You know, and seeing how beat up they are. I'm sure their hands were like that. I'm sure they walked like this, you know, pulling nets all the time. They were beat up, and Jesus was probably clean on the most part, and wasn't beat up like that. So he was like, this guy, no way he's going to tell me how to fish, right? And they let down the nets, and when they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and the net was breaking. So they signaled to their partners in the other boats to come and help them, and they came and filled both the boats, so that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, Depart from me, I am a sinful man, O Lord. So they caught the fish. Peter's first doubt is overcome by a miracle, right? That was a miracle to Peter. And we won't go into all the details of why, but that was a miracle, you know. I mean, he needed that. He needed that, to say the least. And so for he and all who were with him, they were astonished at the catch of the fish which they had taken, and so also were James and John, sons of thunder, or sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on you will catch men." So when they had brought their boats to the land, they forsook all, and they followed him. His first doubt was overcome by a miracle, and his second doubt overcome by a promise. Do not be afraid. From now on you will catch men. I mean, come on, man. Who don't want to catch men? I mean, you guys all serve the Lord. Isn't it awesome feeling when somebody says, "Yeah, I'll go to church"? And then next thing you know, they're going to church more wholeheartedly than you. You know? They're there giving it their all. At that moment, that was Peter's miracle. 4 disciples were made. As far as I'm concerned, that's it. I don't know, maybe a couple of them had it in their mind already, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Andrew, Peter, John, James, they're disciples. Sometimes it takes a miracle. For me, this is where I'm like him. For me, it was my sister Mary beating cancer. Once I saw that her cancer cleared, I wasn't all in yet. But once her cancer came back and she was dancing around like, yeah, it's gone. And she didn't quit going to church. It's gone, but boom, she's there. She taught me, and I was all in, right? I saw her healed, and that was enough for me, man. It was just like Peter's miracle. And this is big enough for me. I never seen anybody get healed from cancer before, right? Especially your best friend, right? Now I see it all the time, right, Mom?
That's right.
Now I see it all the time. You all see it all the time. It's like evident, man. Luke 22:31. Jesus said to Peter, Simon, "Indeed, Satan has asked for you so he can sift you like wheat." Right? That's 22:31, 32. "But I have prayed for you that your faith should not fail." The enemy wanted to separate Peter from God, and Jesus prayed for him. His prayer wasn't for Peter not to fail. His prayer was for Peter not to lose his faith, for his faith not to fail. Right? So, when you're praying, be careful what you pray for, or just pray however, but don't always expect God you're going to fail. But keep the faith, right? Keep the faith. And obviously, Peter failed 3 times. He didn't fail 3 times, he failed a million times. But when he failed when the rooster crowed, remember all this story, he denied Christ. But even with all that failure, I always look at him, then I look at Judas, right? I look at Peter. He had a choice to make, just like Judas had a choice to make. Judas went and hung himself. Judas could have repented, but he didn't. But Peter, he repented. He went on to share the gospel, and he redeemed himself through Christ. He did many great things. My life just like that. So, this is where I'm like that in a way. So, 2005 came, and my sister's cancer came back, right? And she eventually passed away the day after her birthday, and battled that cancer for 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. And I watched her while she was battling cancer. I watched her have surgery on Friday, have her whole body opened up, have a chest plate taken out, but on Sunday, to church. And she didn't put on a turtleneck or anything. She just put on the same old thing. You see these big old nasty scars? She didn't give a rip. Okay? She didn't care. She loved the Lord. And we watched her. Y'all were young, but we watched her. I watched her not sin. She had choices where she could have sinned and she could have did things. She had a boyfriend, and she's like, if you don't marry me, sorry. Moved out. Still dated, still talked, but she showed a lot, right? So watching her, like in the long run, is like, that is my when I go give a testimony now, I can give a testimony about that, because I want to give glory to God, how I couldn't do that. There's no way I could do that. Women are so tough. You know what? Her nickname, man, I used to call her, you're tough as nails, Mary. You're tough as nails, man. I wish I was half as tough as she was. I can't be. I just can't be. I would be such a kid zone, man. I would be tough, man. And I'm not going to say this is an excuse, because I didn't waver from God because of this, but circumstances had it. When she passed, we needed a bigger place. Because the dad wasn't around and he wasn't going to home these kids and help them out. So we needed to look for some bigger place. And we moved to Plymouth Lake. Next thing you know, 8 years go by. 8 years go by. Falling back, old ways. In that time, nobody can tell me that I don't have to go to church to be saved. I love God. I listen to 7, 10 a.m. all day. I listen to preaching all day at work. It was annoying to people. I listened to preaching so much, you started coming to work listening to preaching, right? I'd be at the job already, and here comes Stephen. I hear Tabor and McGee. I can hear him. a block away. I knew, golly, man, somebody must have been, man, this kid picked it up, man. Proud of you, boy. Proud of you, man. That's all because of what your mom did. Because how she was so awesome. It rubbed off on me and thus rubbed off on you. And, but God finds us. He finds us. 8 years went away. And eventually he restored my place with him. And sure, there was hard times in these past 12 years that I've been to church. And if I had an extra half an hour, I'd tell you about my foul-mouthed granny aunt, that what happened when I first started coming to this church, but we don't have time for that. But I can tell you that I started coming into this church, and I nearly got caught up in the same life-changing events. I was growing stuff, and I was manufacturing stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't need to. Raid happened, news cameras happened, my truck, when I pulled in a new life, you knew my black truck. Big old sticker on the back, real men love Jesus. It was so obvious that when it was on the news, people were calling me saying, hey bro, your truck's on the news. There's a bunch of stuff going on there, don't look good. Oh crap. Man, I just started going to this church too, man. What are they going to think about me? But nobody really knew, so not until I told them myself at my testimony. But God, it ain't been rainbows and glitter. In these past 12 years, I lost a wife, heart attack. I lost my second sister to cancer. My special sister, right, Kay? Yeah. My special one. And then I lost my dad recently to cancer. Like, cancer's killing us, I don't know. Many other things. We lost her father. Just trials happen, right? Trials happen, but are those things going to take your faith away? Or are we strong enough in our faith that we know the ultimate goal? Do we know? I struggled, but my faith did not. And through it all, I have been blessed. I've been blessed. I had choices to make every time. When my wife passed away, that night, me and Camille, we showed up in church, right? Who shows up to church the day their wife died? You know who does? People that are lost and have nowhere else to go. I know that I wanted her around her peers the youth. I knew they would love on her, and I knew people who loved me in the church would love on me, and I knew that was the place to be. Because I knew where it was at. I didn't need to go anywhere else. I needed to be around my people. Right? And I think it was a great decision. You know, I'm a new lifer. I am a new lifer. I chose to follow him.